Hello, 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 everybody. Welcome in. Sorry, my voice is only a tiny bit hoarse today because of yesterday. Hello, Maid Master Samak-chan Kun. Welcome in, welcome. Nice to see you. I will consider you and Johto both first in the stream today. Yeah, I thought it might. Oh yeah, did you get to see it, Johto? Did you get to see it? I'm very happy if you got to see it. Yeah. I had a good day yesterday. But the past couple weeks and not excluding today, of course. My mental health has been not so great. So, you were there the whole time. Wow. Dang. You didn't even come up and say hi to me, nothing. I know you did. I got to meet May Master Sama yesterday. That's how he knows to be in stream today. But yeah. You didn't even come up and say hi to me. I know, Archangel. Okay, I do want to say something to you, Archangel. I really, really, really want you to know that me and all the members of my dance team really, really appreciated what you guys put together for us, getting those flower bouquets for us. We half of us cried. The other half, like, we couldn't stop, like, being like, oh my God, thank you so much. Oh, that's what I thought. I was like, you weren't there in person. If you were there in person, you would have said hi. But yes, we really thank you so much for that, Archangel. Thank you so much. And the other two already know how grateful and thankful we are for them. So thank you guys so much for putting that together for us. It really did. Really was really special for us. Yes, absolutely. I think on behalf of everybody, Michi and Sprinkles included, I think they are. He's not. He is, but he won't be alive when TwitchCon comes around. Me and Sprinkles are going to beat him up in a Denny's parking lot. You would have been asleep on the floor. Oh goodness. Yeah, it was quite took quite a lot of stamina, but I hope that you guys will be ready because I will be prepping for the next couple of months leading up to the new year. Hopefully I will be having some live 2D idol stuff coming up. I have my own original songs already been written by a very talented songwriter. I'm looking to eventually get it the instrumental recorded, and then I'll record my vocals when I'm not like hoarse as a heck. And then I have an outfit that I'm having designed as well. But yeah, hopefully you guys will be. Thank you, Maid Master Sama-chan. Thank you so much. Yeah, it was really hot yesterday. It was hotter today, but that's just because of where the area I live in. The area where the performance was actually not that bad, comparatively. Now, it's still not great. It's not great. I will say that. But, oh, well, that's why. There we go. Okay, cool. But I will say that I had a lot of fun. I felt really accomplished. And I hope that everybody who is able to watch the stream enjoyed it. But yeah. My mental health is not super great. My anxiety has been really bad, and unfortunately something happened today to make it monumentally worse, unfortunately. So, oh, thank you. Thank you. Thank you, Maid Master Sama. That actually really is a great compliment. Thank you very much, Archangel. Thank you so much. I really appreciate your guys' comments. It actually really does, it goes a long way, even if you feel like it doesn't. Something happened today that made my anxiety monumentally worse. So, I feel that the next week or so, maybe the next couple of weeks leading up to TwitchCon, I might be rolling back the amount of streams I do per week. I'm probably gonna be like, I probably won't be doing 4. I'll probably be doing like 3, maybe 2, depending. But yeah. It's I don't necessarily force myself, but oh. Thank you so much for the follow, May Master Sama. Thank you. Thank you, Archangel. I appreciate it. Yeah, I really do like hanging out with you guys and seeing chat every 3 or 4 times a week. It really helps quite a lot. I have this overwhelming feeling of, if anybody has anxiety, they understand that like everybody like secretly hates them and never wants to like actually hang out with them and stuff like that. Like most of the time it's not necessarily true, but unfortunately what happened today is one of the rare moments that actually proved my anxiety correct, which like sucks, but it's what it is. You deal with it, you process it, and you take what you can and you move on. Thank you, Maid Master Sama. You're very funny. Yeah, I think I was in the shower today. I think I came up with my call and response when I do become an idol. It'll be Azura's here and she's ready to put a spell on your hearts. And then I'm gonna have everybody walk up to the stage with their heart hands and give me their hearts. And I think it's very cute. Yeah, you're learning from others, Maid Master Sama. But I appreciate it. I really appreciate it. So thank you guys. Let me make sure that no, you wouldn't get kicked out. And they didn't put a spell on your heart, Johto? Yeah. My model you can tell when I'm smiling. I can actually stop smiling. And so you can tell versus I'm smiling. Alright, so let's go ahead. We'll get into this book tonight. I'll give a little recap for anybody who hasn't been here to kind of see or like hear what's been going on. Hello, raccoon. Welcome in. I was telling chat that I might be stepping back a little bit on streaming. Not as much because my mental health has not been very great. Not saying that this taxes my mental health, because to be honest, it's I think one of the only things that kind of helps it, gives me an outlet. But I don't know if processing time or anything like that will help or what. But we'll see. And if I find that that's not helping, maybe we'll get more streams. You never know. Thank you. I know, I appreciate it. I'm going to try my best. Promise. All right, I want to make sure that this is working. Yeah, okay. We'll go ahead and go like this. Bringing up Ronan at TwitchCon will help. It might. It might. It might. He'll be like, sure, you can beat me up. You're feeling depressed? Sure, I can beat you. You can beat me up. All right. Let's see. All right. We'll go ahead and get settled in. Everybody get a little cozy. I will be kind of giving... Whoop. I'll kind of be giving a little bit of a... whatchamacallit? You're funny, Johto. You're funny. Hey, I'll probably be laughing the whole time, Maid Master Sama. So the book we're going to read is called The Boy Who Sneaks in My Bedroom Window. So this book, to give a summarization until where we are currently. Thank you very much, Raccoon. Sorry. It starts out with the main character and her family having an abusive father. And so I think the book starts when she's 8. And she has an older brother who like tries to protect her as much as he can. But one night, it was particularly bad. She goes to her bedroom and he's crying. And the brother has a best friend that lives next door. And his bedroom window faces her bedroom window, so he can see in and see that she's crying. So thank you for the hydrate, Maymaster Summit. You know what I forgot? My hydrate. So give me a second. I'm going to actually be right back. And then I'll finish it. I'll finish the summary. Hold up. Keeps doing that thing. You know where the weight gives out? No. Okay. Sorry about that. I grabbed my hydrate. I hydrated, I promise. Oh, guys. Oh, goodness. Hello, Haru. Welcome in. Welcome, welcome. Yes, yes, yes. Hello, hello. Welcome in. Thank you for the first time chat. We are. Hello, Mega. Welcome in. Welcome, welcome. I'll finish giving the summary here. So, at 8 years old, this girl is crying in her bedroom. Her best friend's brother sees her through his window, and he crawls in through her window. Hello, One Fancy Gamer. Welcome in for the first time chat. Thank you so much. For getting your drinkables, do you even stream, right? uh, well, I've got it now. So she's 8 years old and she's crying in a room, and her best friend's brother, who's 10 years old, also like is seeing her through his bedroom window and decides to sneak across the yard and basically sneak into her room and comfort. Ah! Ah! Thank you very much, One Fancy Gamer, for the sub. Oh, my sounds aren't working. Hold on. I think I know what's up. Give me a second. Because that means my bonks aren't working. Thank you so much for the sub. I really appreciate it. Let's see. La 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 la. But basically, he goes in and comforts her and basically is like, I'll stay here until you go to sleep. And then he also falls asleep. And that just becomes a routine that they have for like 8 years or so. So she's 16, he's 18. And he's called her ever since he's met her Angel. Will not call her by her real name, which is Amber. And the reason for that is because this dude has been in love with this girl ever since he laid eyes on her. But since the brother is so overprotective, he basically can't get anywhere near her unless she like reciprocates his feelings. Ugh, ow. Perfect. I can hear it now, so that means y'all can hear it. Sounds good to me. I just wanted to test it. Thank you so much for that. For the being patient. So basically what happens is like they do that every night where like, she goes into her room to go to bed, and then he climbs in her bedroom window because she has like terrible PTSD nightmares. That if he's not there to like keep her company while she goes to sleep, she has like really terrible nightmares. It's actually like a really sweet book. It sounds very sussy, but it's actually really sweet. And I think it's actually a really cute book. But chat thinks it's sussy. So, I mean, chat can think what it wants to think. But I'll go ahead and I'll start reading here. So basically where we are right now is that Amber's best friend Kate has figured out that that Amber and Liam, who's the best friend, are dating. But Jake doesn't know, who's her older brother. So Jake doesn't know they're dating. And Kate is staying over. And so, like, it kind of complicated them being able to, like sleep, in the same bed. So they're I think right now they're sleeping out in the living room, or what they call the lounge, I guess. Because I think the writer is British. I think she's from the European countries. So that's why that's what that is. But I can read the last couple sentences here, and then we'll go ahead because the start of the next chapter is in all caps. It is a line that is in all caps, so I don't want to like start off strong like that. You know what I mean? All right. Just as I started to go under, I thought I heard him whisper something that sounded like, I love you. But Liam wouldn't say that. So it must have been something else. Chapter 10. What the fuck is this? Jake roared from nearby. My eyes snapped open, seeing his murderously angry face staring down at me. Jake, not so loud, you're gonna make my ears bleed. What's wrong? I grunted, sitting up. But as soon as I moved, I realized what was wrong. I was still on the couch with Liam. Oh no. I jumped back quickly and looked at Liam, who had his mouth hanging open in apparent shock. Sorry, hold on. Oh, I didn't mean to make it that quiet. Okay, there we go. Well, that would have been a perfect start. What do you mean? Thank you, Mecca. But yeah, you guys are 14 subs in. If you make it to 75 before the end of September, I will do a spicy ASMR video posted to YouTube. Yeah. So there's that goal for you. I jumped up quickly and looked at Liam, who had his mouth hanging open in apparent shock. Okay, I need to salvage this situation quickly. Damn it, Liam, yuck! Did you have your hands on me? I cried, pretending to shudder in horror. Don't... What? Liam stammered. What the hell are you doing with him, Amber? Jake growled angrily, jabbing his finger in Liam's direction. I must have fallen asleep, I guess. I frowned, shaking my head as if I was confused. Fallen asleep? What were you doing with him in the first place? He snapped, scowling at Liam before turning to me. Okay, come on, think, Amber. Okay, I got it. He'll have to accept this one. I had a bad dream, I mumbled, looking at the floor and pretending to be upset. My brother gasped and stepped forward, wrapping his arms around me as he put his chin on the top of my head. Oh, shit. Amber, it's okay, he cooed, rocking me slightly. I closed my eyes, hating that I was lying to him. I was upset and I thought you were out here, but you weren't. Liam comforted me, that's all. We must have fallen asleep, I whispered. I just wasn't ready for him to know yet, especially after the way he was just looking at Liam. I'm sorry, I just thought, well, never mind, Jake muttered, pulling back to look at me. You're all right now? Ooh, hold on. I nodded, biting my lip to try and ease some of the guilt that I felt. He looked over at Liam. Sorry, man. I jumped to conclusions. Thanks for taking care of my sister. Liam shifted on his seat, glanced at me. I silently begged him, with my eyes, to not say anything. Yeah, no probs. He shrugged, rubbing a hand through his messy bedhead. I quickly pulled out of Jake's grasp. I'm going to go and get changed for school. What time is it anyway? I asked, looking on the floor for my cell phone, as I had wondered why my alarm hadn't gone off. It's not even 6 yet, Amber. I woke up early, Jake shrugged. Right, well, then I'm going to go have some breakfast before I go in the shower. Thanks, Liam, for last night, blushing and giving him a small smile. It was definitely my pleasure, Angel, he winked at me, smiling happily. Jake slapped him on the back of the head, making him wince. Little sister, he barked, rolling his eyes and stomping off toward the kitchen, leaving me and Liam in the lounge. Once Jake had gone, Liam looked at me. I don't like having to lie to your brother, he whispered, frowning. I know, but it's just a couple of weeks. Please, I begged, kissing him quickly on the lips, turning to run off into the kitchen. He grabbed my hand and pulled me back toward him, kissing me again before he gave me one of his beautiful smiles. I almost skipped to the kitchen because I was so happy. Jake was having toast, so I made 2 bowls of my favorite cereal, one for me and one for Liam. Sounds good. Sure. I hope you have sweet dreams, Maid Master Sama. Poof. Sweet dreams for Maid Master Sama. Thank you very much. No, I'm just happy you came in. Thank you so much. You have a good night, okay? All right. um Thank you, thank you. I really appreciate it. Jake was having toast, so I made 2 bowls of my favorite cereal, one for me and one for Liam. I carried them into the lounge and handed him one before plopping down on the floor by the couch. Thanks for this, Angel, but I don't like cereal, he said, wrinkling his nose in distaste as he looked into the bowl. I raised one eyebrow incredulously. He was always eating my cereal. Every day he had a bowl of it. Sure you do. You eat it every day. I looked at him like he'd lost his mind. He laughed and shook his head. No, I don't. I make a bowl of it every day and pretend to eat it before you come in and snatch it off of me, he answered with a sexy smile and amused eyes. I gasped, dropping my spoon into my bowl, making a loud clatter. Why the heck would you make a bowl and pretend to eat it? Do you like to piss me off? I asked, annoyed. No, Angel. I like to make you breakfast, he answered simply. I gasped at the revelation. He made that for me? You make them for me? Every day? I asked, my mouth hanging open, shocked that he would be so sweet and that I hadn't even noticed. Every day I would come in and make some nasty comment to him about eating at home and leaving my cereal alone, and all this time he made it for me. Jeez, that's so freaking sweet. He just shrugged as if it was nothing. I shook my head in disbelief. All this time I thought he was just being a jerk, when he was really being nice to me. Jake walked in, and then I couldn't say anything. I scoffed at my breakfast and practically ran to my bedroom, grabbing my cell phone and texting him because I couldn't speak to him. Thank you. That is really sweet. I never realized you did that. I'll thank you properly later. I sent. I smiled to myself and went to take a shower. As we stepped out of Liam's car at school, we were immediately surrounded by the usual horde of girls wanting to paw Jake and Liam. I rolled my eyes as Jessica pushed her way to the front and wrapped her dirty little arms around my boyfriend's waist, looking at him with her come-to-bed eyes. Jessica, seriously, you need to get off, Liam said sternly, unwrapping from him and stepping backwards. Liam, baby, how about we skip first period and we can go and have some fun? She purred suggestively, rubbing her hand up his chest. An acrid taste filled my mouth. The jealousy was rising in me again. So much of it that actually started to make me feel sick. Not wanting to let it show, I turned and stalked off as fast as I could. After a minute, I could hear running footsteps behind me, and I assumed it belonged to Kate. She grabbed my hand, pulling me to a stop. Seriously, I'm not in the mood, I almost shouted, turning to her. Only it wasn't her. It was Liam. He frowned, recoiling from my anger. Hey, I just wanted to take you to class. Oh, sorry. I thought you were with Jessica having some fun, I said sarcastically, blushing because I just lashed out at him. He shook his head and stepped closer to me. No, I'm not with her. I'm with you, he said sweetly, smiling at me, making my heart beat faster. I sighed as embarrassed heat burned my cheeks. Right, yeah, sorry, I don't know. I trailed off. You were jealous, he observed, seeming pleased about it. I nodded reluctantly, not really wanting to admit it. Good. I've been waiting for you to get jealous for the last 12 years, he said, grinning wickedly. I laughed uncomfortably. You have? Well, there you go then. It finally happened. I kicked my shoes in the stones, trying to distract myself from the jealous feeling I still had coursing through my veins. I guess I was going to have to get used to the girls being all over him. He was Liam James, for goodness sakes. The girls had always followed him around, begging for his attention. Remember the talk we had yesterday? The one about trust? Well, that works both ways, you know. I'll never hurt you, but you need to believe that too. He put a finger under my chin and tilted my head up, making me look at him. I sighed and nodded in agreement. I do trust you. It was just hard to watch. I replied, smirking, mimicking his words from yesterday. He laughed. Well, word's out now that I have a girlfriend, so that should put a whole end to the whole flirting thing anyway, he assured me, brushing my hair out of my face. You told everyone that you have a girlfriend? I asked, shocked. Okay, wow, maybe he is more serious than I thought about making this work. Of course. I do have a girlfriend. I have the sexiest, most beautiful girlfriend in the world. And yet she's yet to give me the thank you she promised me by text this morning. He smiled, his cheeky smile at me, and it felt like 1,000 butterflies took off in my stomach. I giggled and leant forward until my mouth was almost touching his. All good things come to those who wait, I teased, winking at him and walking off. He groaned and caught up with me quickly. You don't think 12 years is long enough to wait? He asked, faking shock. I giggled and shook my head. Not really. I think I'll make you wait a little longer. I blew a kiss and stepped through the doors to my history class. I heard him groan, but when I looked back, he was smiling, watching me walk away. I purposely swayed my behind, trying to look sexy. It must have worked, because 3 boys from my history class whistled at me and made a comment about my sexy booty. I rolled my eyes and chose to ignore it. I couldn't speak to Liam much at lunch. We were sat at the same table, but it seemed everybody wanted to talk to him. So, you really have a secret girlfriend? Tim, one of his friends, asked skeptically. Yep, Liam confirmed, smiling proudly. Every time he looked at me, I blushed like crazy and was sure someone was going to notice. She must be one hot woman to have tamed the beast into settling down, Rick smirked. Liam laughed. His eyes shot to me for a split second. She is the sexiest thing alive, man, he said confidently. Really? She's a good fuck? Rick asked, picking at his sandwich. Dude, seriously, I'm not going to answer that about my girl, Liam chastised, shaking his head. I bet I could blow her out of the water, Rochelle flirted, running her hand up and down his arm. He laughed incredulously. You know what? You wouldn't stand a chance. My girl is incredibly beautiful, both inside and out. Liam shrugged, pulling his arm away, grinning. All the girls at the table awed, and I smiled, trying to eat my lunch. I could feel Kate's eyes on me, so I looked at her, and she was grinning at me from ear to ear. I rolled my eyes at her, chuckling. He hasn't slept with her. She believes in no sex before marriage, Jake interjected, smirking. I swallowed my laugh. Had Jake seriously believed him when he told him that this morning? Everyone gasped and looked at him, who was grinning like crazy. No shit! You haven't slept with her? Rick asked skeptically. No, I haven't. But that's not really any of your business, guys. Liam shook his head, grinning. I've got to go. I'll need to speak to Coach about practice. He shrugged, getting up. Half the boys got up too, following him out. As soon as he was gone, all the girls started planning and scheming. They wanted to know who the secret girl was and would stop at nothing to find out. When they took out $20 each and put it in the middle of the table, I looked at them confused. So the next girl to nail him wins the pot, Jessica said with a smirk. I gasped. Seriously? He just said he has a girlfriend and isn't interested, and you're betting on the next one who's going to sleep with him? What if his girlfriend is the next one to sleep with him? I asked, shocked. I can't believe these girls are betting on having sex with someone. It's like it's a damn competition. Well, if he puts her money in, then she can win. But she's obviously not giving him what he needs. He'll stray eventually. The next one to nail him wins, but I guarantee it won't be his girlfriend. He can't wait. No sex before marriage? Yeah, right. This is Liam James we're talking about. She rolled her eyes, grinning. She obviously was extremely confident that she'd win. Then I had an idea. I pulled out a 20 and dropped it into the pile. The next one to nail him, right? I asked, barely able to contain my grin. Yeah, right. Like you'd stand a chance, emo. Jessica spat at me nastily. So, how much does the winner get? I asked excitedly, ignoring her sneer. She counted the money that was in the pile. Well, there's 240 here at the moment, but once people hear of it, well, I don't know. Last time we did this, it was for Chris. And it got up to 620, but Liam is way hotter. And by the looks of him, untouchable, she mused. Well, for the moment, anyway. Jessica laughed, folding the money and putting it in her pocket. Writing the entrants' names onto a piece of paper, I chuckled knowingly, and so did Kate. Wow, this is going to be easy money. Are you going to be putting in as well? Jessica asked Kate and Sarah politely. Nope, not me. I don't stand a chance. Kate shrugged, still laughing. Sarah dug into her pocket and passed Jessica a bill. I'm in. Who could say no at the chance of all that money and they get to sleep with Liam James? She sighed dreamily. I didn't answer. I just grabbed my two friends' arms and dragged them out of the lunchroom until our next class. I had to hang around after school and wait for Jake and Liam to finish hockey practice. No one was allowed courtside during their practice because their coach said girls distracted the players. So I had to be extremely quiet as I sat in the back, slouching in my seat to avoid detection. I loved to watch their hockey games, but there was just something about when they glided over the ice so fast and gracefully. They were doing sprints at the moment, skating from one line to the other as fast as they could, and then they had to dribble a puck through a load of cones, and then finally are taking turns shooting a goal, with my brother doing his best to keep the pucks out. He was a talented goalkeeper, but he only played for fun. Liam, on the other hand, had been offered a full athletic scholarship to one of the best colleges in the country. He was hoping to turn pro, which apparently he had every chance of doing because he had the scouts falling all over him. Hello, Panda Fighter. Welcome in. Welcome, welcome. As I sat there, I found myself watching Liam skating. I had watched him do it hundreds, if not thousands of times, but there was just something so beautiful about it today. He took my breath away. I was watching the way his feet moved, the way his messy brown hair blew as he skated, and the way the ice sprayed up as he stopped. And of course, I noticed how unbelievably hot he looked in his practice uniform. Don't they have helmets? Wouldn't they have helmets? Do they not practice in helmets? Am I wrong? I'm sorry. That's the thought I had, the ADHD thought I had. When the coach dismissed them for the night, I snuck back out and waited by Liam's car for them to shower. Sarah came up as I was standing there. Hey, girl, she chirped, bouncing up and down a little in excitement. Hey, Sarah, what's up with you? You haven't been sniffing those herbs again, have you? I teased. This was a running joke. A while back, Sarah had bought some herbs from a friend of hers. She had lit them in her room for the sole purpose of cleansing her aura. Thank you for the hydrate and the stretch, Panda. Thank you. Thank you. Clearly. That's what I was thinking, Mega. That's what I was thinking. It was a little too, a little too precariously dangerous. Oh! Thank you very much, Mr. Apple Ruby, for the follow. Thank you, thank you. Welcome in, welcome, welcome. Okay. Let me get a stretch really quick, really quick. Okay, stretch all done. Sarah had bought some herbs from a friend of hers. She had lit them in her room with the sole purpose of cleansing her aura, but it had ended up being weed. Under the influence, she thought it was a great idea to strip naked and run down the street calling everyone in her cell phone to come and see the parade. She had never lived it down. By the way, I don't believe that that's how that works, but it's fine, I guess. Haha, no. I've just spoke to Ashley, who said the pot for Liam's ass is now up to 1860, $1,860. Chat, can you believe that? So I'm going to go give it a shot when he comes out of practice, she said, bouncing on the spot, looking around for them. I almost choked. $1,860? Holy crap. Is that a joke? That meant over 90 girls were looking to be begging my boyfriend for sex, offering it to him on a plate, and I was scared to let him touch me. Maybe this wasn't going to be as fun as I had first thought. About 5 minutes later, the boys came out. Hi, Liam. Wow, you smell so good, Sarah purred seductively as she leaned in close to him. People be thirsty. They sure be thirsty. They do. They do be down bad and they be thirsty. He recoiled over at her and frowned like she had lost her mind as she stuck out her chest and pushed her hair back sexily. I bit my lip hard, so I didn't laugh. Hi, Sarah. Listen, you might not have heard, but I have a girlfriend. So, Liam answered, shrugging. That's okay. I don't mind sharing, Sarah answered, putting her hand on his chest and making him stop in front of her. He looked a little annoyed. Sarah, seriously, I'm not interested, okay? He moved her hair and got into the car, frowning out of the windshield. I smiled apologetically at Sarah because she had looked a little defeated. Well, there's $20 I'll never see again, she pouted. I laughed. Hey, when I win, I'll give you your 20 back. I winked at her teasingly, making her laugh as I climbed into the back seat. Today was one of the days that Jake worked, so Liam always dropped him at the gym where he worked Monday to Wednesday evenings. And then Liam usually drove me home. Liam sighed as we pulled out of the parking lot. Shit, man. I think I've been hit on more times today than I've ever been. What the hell is that about? I tell people I've got a girlfriend, and all afternoon people have been begging me to fuck. He stopped talking abruptly, looking me at the mirror as if he'd said too much. I laughed wickedly. Clearly he had no idea that nearly 100 horny girls were trying to sleep with him for a bet. What's so funny, Angel? He asked, raising his eyebrows at me in the mirror. You want to know why you've had all that extra attention today? I asked, smirking. Yeah, he answered, looking a bit apprehensive. Jake turned to me to look at me from the front. I smiled. Well, there's a bet going around amongst the girls as to who can sleep with you first. The first girl to get to you wins the pot. It's pretty good money, I explained, still smirking. Jake burst out laughing, and Liam almost swerved the car into the other lane because he was so shocked. They're doing what? Don't they know I have a girlfriend? He shouted, shaking his head in horror as he got control of the car again. His outrage seemed to make Jake laugh harder. I nodded. Yeah, that's why they're doing it. They don't like the idea of you being attached, seeing as you're such a player, so they want to be the next one to sleep with you. I shrugged dismissively, pretending it was no big deal, when I was actually worried sick about it. How long would he be able to resist all of this attention for? How much is the pot? Jake asked, amusement still clear in his face. Over $1,800, I laughed. Liam nearly swerved off the road again, and Jake's mouth dropped open. He looked at Liam with a look of pure pride in his eyes. Yep, $20 each, so that makes 90 girls wanting to be the next one you screw, Liam. I smiled at him in the mirror. He looked horrified as he ground his teeth in frustration. Jake grinned excitedly. Holy shit, man. You should just choose someone and screw them and split the money, he suggested, slapping Liam's arm with the back of his hand. Liam gave him the filthiest look in the world, like he had just suggested skinning a puppy or something. Jake held up his hands apologetically. Kidding. Jeez, I'm kidding, he said quickly, but I could tell by his face he was actually serious. So that's why Sarah just hit on me outside the car? Who the hell else is in on this, Angel? Liam asks, sounding a bit annoyed about it. Well, Jessica's arranging it. All of the cheer squad, most of the seniors, me, Ashley, Nadine. I replied, listing people off that I knew, but Liam cut me off. You? He asked, with wide eyes. I nodded, laughing. Well, yeah, $1,800 is a lot of money. Mind you, it was only $240 when I put it in, but still, I like to gamble. I joked, giving him a sexy smile in the mirror. Jake turned in his seat, glaring at me angrily. You? No freaking way. What the hell are you thinking? He ranted, shaking his head adamantly. I flinched at the loudness of his voice in the small car. I winced. Jake, it's a lot of money, and I just thought, it'd be a laugh. You never know. I might get to lose my virginity to the famous Liam James. I teased, waggling my eyebrows at him, trying to make light of it. The anger slowly faded from my brother's face as he chuckled his shoulders loosened. He turned away, and I smiled in relief. He obviously thought I was joking. Jeez, Ams, you scared me then. I thought you were serious. Jake laughed, slapping Liam on the shoulder proudly. $1,800, that's awesome. I wonder how many girls you can bang in one night if they all thought you were the one to win the bet. I gasped, mortified. Oh, crap, great. Jake put that in his head. I'm sure that's all he needs to hear since his girlfriend is not willing to give it up. Damn it, Jake, I have a girlfriend, Liam cried, slamming his hand down on the steering wheel in frustration. Jake nodded, raising his eyebrows suggestively. Yeah, I know, but come on. The girls are going to be pretty desperate to win, and I bet you could get them to do anything. Jake, just stop. I don't want anyone else. I'm crazy about my girl. I'm not going to screw it up with her, Liam stated proudly. He smiled at him in the mirror, and my breathing started to slow as my panic started to recede. Oh, no. Trust. I needed to trust him and stop assuming the worst all the time. As we pulled up outside the gym, Jake jumped out of the car, leaving us on our own. Liam looked at me out of the corner of his eye. You put $20 betting you would be the next one to sleep with me? He asked, smiling at me cockily. Actually, no. The bet was the next one to nail you, I shrugged, giggling. He laughed and gripped my hand as he drove us home. I can't believe this is happening. I thought that once people knew I wasn't interested, they'd leave me alone, not have more girls after me. I'm really sorry. He frowned, raised his my hand to his lips, kissing my knuckles softly. Don't worry about it. It's not your fault. I guess that whole thing, that trust thing is going to be needed a lot from now on, huh? I joked, smiling a half smile, pretending I wasn't worried about all of the girls that would be throwing themselves at him for the foreseeable future. When we got to our street, he parked in his drive. Hey, want to come in mine? We can tell my parents together. Hold on. Is that okay? That's better. Sorry, I'm adjusting my microphone. It keeps not being where I want it to be. When I told them I had a girlfriend, my mom almost died, I swear, he said, chuckling and nodding towards his house with a hopeful expression. Wow, the whole meet the parents thing already? I joked. I mean, what if they don't like me? I mused with wide eyes, faking horror. He chuckled, reaching out and brushing my hair over my shoulder. I grinned. I grinned over at him. The idea of Liam's parents not liking me was ludicrous. They already thought of me as a daughter. Liam was the only child, and because his mom had some problems when she gave birth to him, which left her unable to have more children. She loved both me and Jake and always said we were like family. I loved them too. They were great people, kind, funny, and thoughtful. Actually, just like Liam, though it had taken me some time to see past all his bravado. Sorry, that was a hard word just now. Bravado. Bravado. All right. Next chapter. Here we go. All right. Chapter 11. Mom, Dad, you home? Liam shouted excitedly as we stepped. Oh, I got Bunk. Hello. Thank you, RZ Monster, for the follow. Thank you. Thank you. Welcome on in to my stream. We are reading a book called The Boy Who Sneaks in My Bedroom Window. We are on chapter 11. So, yeah. Here we go. We continue. Chapter 11. Mom, Dad, you home? Liam shouted excitedly as we stepped through his front door. Yeah, honey, we're in here. Pat, his mother, called from the direction of the kitchen. Now I gotta really roll the R's. Gotta get through the bravado. Bravado. Crunchy. Bravado. Yeah. Parancino, parancino, and tarachi. Sorry, that's Stray Kids. Liam smiled happily, and his hand closed over mine as we walked into the kitchen. As we both stopped in the doorway, I smiled at the sight before me. Pat was baking cookies, and Rick, Liam's dad, was busy trying to eat the cookie mix straight from the bowl, making her laugh as she hit his hand with a wooden spoon. I chuckled at the scene. They were always like this. She was the perfect housewife and mother, and he adored her and Liam, which was really sweet. Hi, Amber. Long time no see, Rick greeted, immediately leaning in and planting a kiss on my cheek. I smiled, trying not to show my unease that he was so close to me. Hey, Rick. Hi, Pat. How are you? I asked cheerfully. We're great, Amber. I want to hug you, but I'm covered in cookies, honey. Pat frowned, holding up her hands as evidence. Yeah, I can see that. They smell so good, I replied, eyeing the already baked ones on the plate on the counter. She passed the plate to me, and I happily took one, grinning triumphantly. Thanks. Rick's mouth dropped open in shock. Hey, you said I couldn't have one because they were cooling. He whined, pouting. Pat rolled her eyes playfully and picked up a cookie, tossing it in his direction. Liam placed his hand on the small of my back. Guys, I wondered if you wanted to meet my girlfriend. Maybe she could have dinner with us tonight, he suggested. An enormous grin spread across his mother's face. She looked so happy that I actually wondered if she was holding back tears. Oh, Liam, I'd love to meet her. I still can't believe you have a girlfriend. You spent all this time saying there was only one girl for you, and now you've finally been able to move on and actually date someone. She cooed, practically bursting with excitement and pride. Yeah, oh, okay, Mom, maybe tone it down a bit, huh? Liam mumbled, rolling his eyes. So what time is she coming? Have you met her, Amber? Is she nice? Pat asked, beaming at me. I looked at Liam, unsure what to say. This whole situation was laughable. And did she say that Liam had always only said there was one girl for him? Actually, Mom, she's here, right now, Liam said proudly, rubbing my back and smiling at me. His eyes bore into mine, making the temperature in the room seem to rise. Pat squealed and grabbed the cloth from the counter, wiping her hands before fixing her hair frantically. I frowned in confusion as she practically ran down the hallway. Mom, what are you doing? Liam chuckled. I noticed that Rick was staring at Liam's hand on my back, a wide grin on his face. Yeah, he already fucking figured it out. That was good. Well, is she parking the car or something? Pat asked, looking at Liam before glancing at the front door again. He laughed harder, and Rick and I chuckled too. Mom, this is my girlfriend. Her name is Amber Walker. Liam beamed proudly as I pressed myself closer to him, still loving how nice the word girlfriend sounded when he said it. Pat's eyes widened in shock as her mouth popped open. Slowly, I could see it sinking in, and her shock turned to happiness before radiating into complete bliss. She squealed and ran forward, engulfing both me and Liam into a hug, crushing my side against his as she squeezed us tightly. Oh my gosh, you finally got together. Finally. She practically screamed, bouncing on the spot excitedly. Liam's arm snaked around my waist as he pulled me impossibly closer to him. Yeah, finally, he confirmed, rolling his eyes, but looking amused at the same time. Rick extended his hand to his son. They shook hands in a very grown-up gesture before he pulled him into a bear hug. After all the excitement had died down, we had dinner. It was lovely to be sat with Liam's parents like this. They honestly didn't stop smiling. Every time Liam and I touched each other, Pat would sigh happily, beaming at us. Right. You boys can clear the table, Pat ordered, grabbing my arm and tugging me toward the door. Liam grabbed and shook his head, grinned and shook his head in amusement as he picked up the plates and headed to the kitchen. Once in the living room, Pat pulled me down next to her, not letting go of my hand. I am so happy for you two. Liam's told you he's been in love with you for years, right? She beamed, my breath caught in my throat at her choice of words. She thinks Liam is in love with me? He isn't in love with me, is he? Did he really whisper that he left me last night before I fell asleep? He's told me he's liked me for a long time, yeah. I mumbled uncomfortably. She rolled her eyes. Liked, she scoffed. Geez, that boy has been smitten with you from the get-go. I mean, he calls you Angel, for goodness sakes, she laughed. I look at her, confused. What does that have to do with anything? I asked, frowning. I love Pat dearly, but sometimes she could be a little crazy. One of her eyebrows rose. He never told you why he calls you that? She asked, smirking at me. I shook my head, and she chuckled darkly. The first time we met you was at Liam's 6th birthday party. You had not long moved in, and we thought it would be nice, to invite the neighbors to the party. She started, nodding enthusiastically. Yeah, I remember. You had balloons everywhere, and a clown that did magic tricks. I smiled, and the James did throw the best parties, even kids' parties. Thank you very much. This is getting complicated. Thank you, Chronetics, for the follow. Thank you so much. I really appreciate it. This is getting it's not getting that complicated. What do you mean? I think it's really sweet. What do you mean? I think every girl who wants a nice guy who is literally like loved at first sighted her, been like, oh my gosh, she's so pretty. Oh my gosh, she's so beautiful. But that just could be the flattery talking, don't know. That's right. So anyway, you and your brother came to the party, and as soon as you walked through the door, Liam just stared at you. He literally couldn't take his eyes off of you. You smiled and wished him a happy birthday, but he couldn't even speak to you, so you walked off to go dance. He turned to me, and you know what he said to me? She asked. She sighed wistfully as her eyes glazed with tears. I shook my head. What the heck is she going to say? This is freaking me out a little. He said in a deadly serious tone, Mama, am I dead? And I said, no, honey, you're not dead. And he shook his head, looking all confused about something. And then he pointed to you dancing and said, if I'm not dead, then why is there an angel in our house? She stated, clasping her hands together and beaming. I gasped. Holy crap. That's why he calls me Angel? My heart racing and my palms were sweaty. Maybe Liam truly is in love with me, but was I in love with him? I didn't think so, at least not yet. But I could easily see myself falling in love with him. That's why he calls me that? Are you serious? I asked, unsure if she was joking or not. Totally. Ask him if you don't believe me. But from the moment on, from that moment he saw you, he was in love with you. It's plain as the look on his face. I'm surprised you never noticed. She shook her head, chuckling. I never noticed because he was always so mean to me. He was always pushing me over and pulling my hair. Really? I mean, Could be. He was always pushing me over or pulling my hair or calling me names, I frowned. Why would he do all of that if he was in love with me? Your brother made him stay away, Pat stated as if answering my unspoken question. He beat Liam up after his birthday party at the same year and told him to stay away from you, she said, laughing and shaking her head. That brother of yours is protective. Bless him. She mused, smiling fondly. I nodded, wincing. Yeah, I know. Liam and I had talked about it, and we decided to keep it from Jake for a couple of weeks, just until things settled down. I'd really appreciate it if you'd not said anything to him if you see him. I dreaded the thought of Liam and Jake fighting. I definitely wanted to put that off as long as possible. I won't say anything, but I don't think you should leave it too long. Otherwise, it'll only get harder. I smiled gratefully. Yeah, just a couple of weeks. Suddenly, Liam jumped over the back of the couch and landed next to me, making me bounce in my seat as the cushion moved. Instantly, his arms wrapped around my shoulder and pulled me to him. When I turned to smile at him, he kissed me, nibbling my lip, asking for entrance. I whimpered and shook my head, pulling away. Jeez, has he forgotten that his mom is sitting right next to me, watching us? He groaned, pouting like a child. Angel, I haven't seen you all day, he whined. The word angel had me giggling nervously. Was Pat telling the truth? Did Liam really call me that because he thought I was an angel when he was 6 years old? What are you laughing at, beautiful? He whispered, stroking the side of my face with the back of one finger. I bit my lip to stop, making me stop, and shook my head. Nothing, I lied, smiling at him. He bent forward, his head forward, and kissed me again. I smiled against his mouth and pulled back, shaking my head subtly. Liam, seriously, your mom is watching us, I whispered to his puppy dog face. We both looked over at Pat, who was staring at us with a huge grin on her face, like she was watching the cutest thing in the world. Liam stood up and held his hand out to me. Let's go listen to some music in my room. He frowned a little at his mom, who was still watching us like some sort of crazy happy woman. I slipped my hand in his and let him pull me up and into his room. I hadn't been in his bedroom for years. The last time I was in there was probably 2 years ago when I came in to change my clothes after we had an epic water fight and Jake and I had gotten locked out. His room was much of the same as it is then, but it is now has more stuff on the walls, like a signed hockey jersey that he had gotten for his birthday from his parents this year. His trophies were all lined up on some shelves. He put on some music quietly, and I walked over to the bookcase to see 2 framed photos. One was of Jake, Liam, and I at the park when we had gone for a picnic when we were kids. I was probably 11 or 12. And the other was a photo of me and my dance crew taken at one of the competitions we had entered. I picked it up and looked at it curiously. I love that photo, Liam said, smiling at it as he came and stood next to me. I held it out to him. When did you take this? About 2 months ago at the club on Richmond. You won first prize, so you were jumping all over the place with excitement. He smiled and rubbed his thumb over the picture before putting it back down. I frowned at his answer. I hadn't seen him there. I hadn't known that he'd come to support me. I walked over to his bed and sat down. Wow, your bed is uncomfortable. No wonder you like sleeping at mine, I joked, running my hand over his duvet. Whoa. He laughed as he sat down next to me, leaving a respectable gap between our bodies. I couldn't help but notice how handsome he looked when he laughed. I scooted closer to him and put my hand on his shoulder, pushing him down onto his back and swinging my leg over his stomach. I straddled him and bent, resting my forearms on either side of his head. Our faces were so close that the tip of my nose touched his. So, Liam, I want to tell you, I want you to tell me something, I breathed, running my hands through his hair. Can I kiss you first? Then I'll answer anything you want. His gaze flicked down to my lips for a split second before returning to my eyes. Not needing to be asked again, I crashed my lips down into his. His arms immediately circled my waist, pulling me closer to him as one of his hands tangled into my hair. Kissing Liam seemed to get better and better each time. I was burning with the need for him to touch me, but I was also conscious that his parents were just down the hall, knowing that we were in here together. I pulled back after a few minutes. We were both breathing hard. He was running his hands slowly down my body from the top of my head down to my waist and back up again, looking at me adoringly. I was a little startled by the look on his face. What his mom said was true. He really is in love with me. I can see it in his eyes. What is it that you want to know, Angel? He asked, gripping both of my hands on my ass and squeezing gently. I was almost distracted by his hands. If he would just move them a bit further down and toward the center more, they'd be exactly where my body was screaming for him to be. I shook my head to clear away the lustful thoughts and smiled at his handsome face. I just want to know why you call me Angel. He gasped, and a cute shade of red crept over his cheeks. I smiled reassuredly at him. He groaned and shook his head quickly. No way, I'm not answering that. He whined, giving me the puppy dog face that I couldn't resist. Hi, Reaper. Welcome in. Welcome. It's okay. You're here now. It's okay. Come on, you said you'd answer anything I wanted, I encouraged. He frowned and shook his head. Okay, I'll try another tactic. Please, I begged, pecking his lips with mine. Please, I whispered again, kissing him. Please. Thank you for the hug, Reaper. He moaned and took a deep breath as I kissed down his neck. I call you Angel because, honestly, I believe that God put an angel on this earth just for me, he admitted, cupping my face in his hands and making me look at him. I took in a shaky breath. So what Pat said was true. My heart was racing in my chest as he continued to speak. The first time I saw you, I thought you were an angel straight from heaven. You were so beautiful that you took my breath away. You still do, every day. This has to be the sweetest thing I have ever heard, Liam, I cooed, kissing him tenderly. He kissed me back and rolled so I was underneath, and I had lost myself in the bliss of having his full attention. The feeling of his mouth against mine was indescribable. I could kiss you all day, I whispered as he kissed down my neck, nibbling gently on the skin, making me moan breathlessly. Sounds like a good plan, he mumbled against my skin. I wrapped my legs around his waist and I pulled him closer to me, kissing him with everything I had. His hands slid up my arms, wrapping around my wrist as he pulled them tighter, pinning them down on the pillows. He kissed me again before trailing kisses across my cheek to my ear. I love you, Angel, he whispered. My heart stopped as my body began to tingle, but I didn't know what to say. This was all so fast and unexpected, and I almost felt like a dream. Liam, he chuckled, shaking his head. He smiled down at me. His grip loosened on my wrist as I started to panic because I didn't know what to say. And I didn't want to hurt his feelings after he'd just make the L word confession. He dipped his head and kissed my lips as I remained in stunned silence. You don't have to say anything. I felt like this about you for years, and you've only just stopped looking at me as your brother's asshole best friend. I just wanted to say the words to you, that's all. I've been waiting to say them for a long time, he said, smoothing my hair away from my face. My eyes met his as I studied him closely, making sure he wasn't just saying that I didn't need to say it back when, in fact, I did need to. His tone of his voice and his smile seemed genuine, though. I gulped and nodded, wrapping my arms around his neck tightly as he lifted my head and kissed him softly. His words were echoing in my mind as a contented warmth seemed to spread throughout my whole body. Okay, all right. Got chapter 12 here. All right. We must have fallen asleep because I woke up with Liam wrapped all over me. My eyes fluttered at his alarm clock and jerked when I saw it was past 9. Jake would be home already. I nudged him awake. Hey, I gotta go. It's after 9, I stated, urgently trying to unwrap him from me. He groaned. 10 more minutes, Angel, he muttered sleepily. I laughed. He looked so cute when he was sleepy. I giggled as I tickled him. Liam, it's not morning. It's still nighttime, but I have to go. Jake will be wondering where I am, I explained, finally prying him off me and jumping up. He groaned and pulled me back to him, holding me tightly against his body, smiling sleepily. I giggled. Will you stop? I need to go, I scolded, laughing as he nibbled my earlobe. He shook his head. No, I don't want you to go, he muttered, kissing my neck softly. I pushed him away, making him groan loudly. But I'm gonna miss you, he whined, making me laugh even harder. I'll see you in an hour. Anyway, I have homework to do, I said with a shrug. He sighed in defeat. Yeah, me too, he admitted, pouting slightly. I climbed out of his bed, slipped on my shoes that I kicked off at some point during our makeout session. As I put my hand on the door handle, he sat up, rubbing his hands through his hair roughly. Hey, wait, I'll walk you out. I smiled gratefully, waiting until he had his shoes on too before he walked out of his room hand in hand. On the way past, I stuck my head in the lounge. Bye, Pat. Bye, Rick, I called. Goodbye, honey, Rick replied, not taking his eyes off the TV. Pat smirked over the back of the sofa. Bye, Amber. Did you guys have fun? She asked, winking at me knowingly. I squirmed on my feet and nodded, unsure if my voice would work if I tried to speak. Liam rolled his eyes and pulled me to the front door, where he pushed me against it and lightly and kissed me until I was dizzy. I'll see you at 10:30, okay? He whispered, caressing my cheek. I nodded. I let myself out of his house, walking quickly to mine next door. As I got to my front door, I turned to smile at Liam. He was standing on his porch, checking to make sure I got home safely, even though I only lived 30 feet away. Congrats on the 5-stream watch streak, Reaper. Yay. Good job. As I stepped over the threshold of my house, I saw Jake sitting on the sofa. The TV wasn't on. He just sat there in silence, clutching his phone in his hand tightly. He looked up, his eyes alight with anger. Where have you been? I've been worried. You could have left a note or something, he berated, shaking his head disapprovingly. I shrugged, smiling apologetically. Sorry, I was over at Liam's. Pat asked me to stay for dinner, and I thought, seeing as you weren't here, that I would go and I wouldn't be here on my own. I love Pat's dinners, he moaned, his angry expression leaving his face to be replaced by a jealous one. Well, you missed a good one, too. She made homemade pie and everything, I teased, smiling wickedly as he groaned. Well, I enjoyed my grilled cheese, he joked, making me laugh. I'm going to go do my homework. I turned and started toward the hallway so I could get to my room, but he called me back. Ams, wait a minute. I need to talk to you about something, he insisted, patting the sofa next to him in prompt. I trudged back obediently and sat down in the suggested seat. What's up? I frowned at him quizzically. He actually looked really upset about something. He took a deep breath. I spoke to Mom tonight. At the mere mention of the word Mom, a smile twitched on my lips. Yeah? Is she okay? Is she coming home? I asked as excitement built to my chest. She had already been gone for 2 weeks. And like always, I was missing her like crazy. The time she was here always seemed to go by too fast. Jake shook his head. She told me something, and I don't want you to freak out about it. There's nothing to worry about, I promise. He took my hand and looked at me, smiling sadly. I recoiled at his expression. Oh, crap, this is going to be bad. What is it? I asked, already imagining the worst. Were we going to have to move to China? She'd lost her job. She was getting remarried, but that wasn't necessarily a bad thing unless he was a jerk. Hundreds of things were running through my mind, but the last thing I expected was what Jake said. Our father has been in contact with her. He wants to see us, apparently, to make amends for what he did. He spat through his teeth, his sadness turning to blind rage. I couldn't breathe. My lungs refused to work. My heart was beating too fast as my body started to shake. He was coming back, and he wanted to see us. Thank you very much for the hydrate, the posture check, and the stretch, King. Thank you so much. And the head pats. Stretch time. Stretchy noises. Hi, Azura. Wonderful dancing, by the way. Wish I could have been there in person. You hosted a watch party? Wait, that's so sweet. Really? Aw. Well, I'm glad that you were able to watch it and you got some people to watch it with you. Yo, what's up, Haru? What's up, fam? That's awesome. Wish video wasn't sideways. Halfway through, had to use OBS to rotate the video. Oh, I'm sorry. But more to see though. Yeah. More to see. But yeah, thank you so much. I appreciate it. Oh, whoa. Yo, oh, whoa. I'd say stream was a nice gift. Say the stream was a nice gift too. Thank you. I appreciate you guys. The support means a lot. All right. Let's continue here. Thank you guys. I appreciate it. All right. Last note. Thank you, Ocelot. Welcome in. Glad I was able to see you in the audience yesterday. Yeah, we have a lot of people that came to see us. I think they like us, but I think most of all they really like Love Live quite a lot. I just hope we were able to bring it as faithfully as people had imagined it to be. So that's all we really care about, at least me. That and having fun. Love Live mentioned. Yes. You've never seen Love Live. You should see Love Live. It's pretty good. Hello, Robot Sidekick. Zura! Hello. I know. We made sure to have that song in our set list for you. So we're glad we were able to do it. You're here for Reed. Sounds good. I hope Reed is good. I hope Reed is going well for you. I know people were like, oh, this is it's okay. It's okay. Good. I'm glad. All right. So we're getting to the part where she's going to have a fucking panic attack. My heart was beating too fast as my body started to shake. He was coming back. He wanted to see us. The last time I saw that man, he had ripped my school shirt off of me and pinned me to the ground while he had undone his pants. Ugh. He was about to do bad things when Jake and Liam came in and beat the crap out of him. Oh, God, he's coming back. He replayed, right? Bad, though. Bad AO. I replayed all of the beatings he had handed out to me and Jake, all of the bad things that happened when I was alone with him, and the whispered words and secret smiles. My vision started to get black spots as I hyperventilated. I was going to die. I could feel it. My body was shutting down, unable to deal with the memories and the pain. I was vaguely aware of shouting, "Just let go, I can help her." A voice I recognized ordered, "Call 911 for fuck's sake, she can't breathe," Jake shouted. "Jake, let go of her, I got this, I promise." Jake, the voice sounded urgently again. I was jostled slightly, and then I felt two strong arms go around me, pulling me into a hard chest. And there was a beautiful smell that I recognized as Liam's. Oh, thank God Liam's here. My heart rate started to slow as I felt him press his lips to my neck and I breathed slowly and calmly down my back. I tried to match my breathing to his. I concentrated on the feeling of his steady heartbeat against my chest, and the black spots started to slowly fade. After a few minutes, I regained control of my arms. I wrapped them tightly around his waist, clinging to them as if he were the only thing keeping me from falling off the edge of the world. My father was coming back, but I was with Liam. He wouldn't let anything hurt me. I knew that. So I started to feel safe in his arms. After what seemed like forever, I was able to pull back and look at him. "You're all right now?" he asked, putting his hands on either side of my face and pressing his forehead to mine. I nodded. I licked my lips. They tasted salty for some reason, and I realized that I had been crying. I wiped my face with the back of my hand and sniffed. Slowly, I became aware of my surroundings, and I was still in the lounge. Jake was standing at the sofa, staring at me, clearly shocked. His mouth was agape, his eyes wide. I thought about stepping away from Liam because my brother didn't seem to like me being near his best friend, but I just couldn't do it. I couldn't move away from Liam. He was my safety. He was the one I needed, the one that would keep me sane through all of this. When Jake stood and pulled Liam's arms from around me, engulfing me in a hug, I whimpered because I wasn't ready to leave Liam yet. My heart was still stuttering, and I still wasn't in full control. "Damn it, Amber, don't ever do that to me again. I thought you were going to die. Shit, you scared me," Jake ranted as he rocked me back and forth gently. "I'm okay," I replied weakly. I looked back at Liam for reassurance and saw that he wasn't there. The panic started to rise in my chest again as my breathing started to get shallow almost instantly. "Where's Liam?" I choked out. "Oh God, he left me." Jake hugged me tightly. "Shh, it's okay, just breathe, shh," he murmured, but I couldn't. My lungs were too tight. "Shit," Jake gasped, looking at me. "Liam, get in here quick," he almost screamed. Liam ran back into the room, holding a glass of water, which he put down at the table, roughly spilling half of it, before wrapping his arms around me. "It's okay, Angel," he whispered, putting his lips on my neck again. After a couple minutes, when I could pull back, I smiled at Liam gratefully. Jake made an angry growling sound at the back of his throat as I looked at him. "What the fuck? You two are together, aren't you?" he roared. Liam just held up his hand to stop his rant. "Look, Jake, you and I will talk about this, but now's not the right time after what just happened. I need to make sure that she's okay," he said sternly, ending the conversation. Jake's anger diminished as he nodded, looking back at me worriedly. "I'm sorry, Amber, but I had to tell you and make sure you knew. But I promise I'll never let him hurt you. You don't need to worry about anything. I'll kill him before he touches you," Jake said, reaching for my hand. I smiled, but I had a feeling it would look more like a grimace. "I know that, Jake. I'm sorry I freaked out and scared you." I raised a shaky hand and swiped at my tears again. "That's okay. Just don't do it again," he requested, huffing a deep breath. I laughed weakly and nodded as Liam guided me to sit on the sofa behind me. He smiled sadly as he sat down next to me, holding the glass he had carried in earlier. As I sipped the drink, I noticed Jake was watching Liam's every move, glaring angrily. "Stop looking at him that way, Jake. He's done nothing wrong," I said, frowning. My brother shook his head as a muscle in his temple twitched. He took a deep breath, obviously trying to calm himself, before speaking. "You two are together," he said simply, looking between the two of us as confirmation. I shifted uncomfortably in my seat. "Okay, so much for 2 weeks." "Yes," Liam answered, nodding, his arm wrapped tightly around me. I cringed into him, wanting this to be a dream. Not only was my abusive father coming back, but my brother was now going to beat the crap out of my boyfriend. "How long?" Jake asked. His jaw was still tight, but he seemed to be doing well with this control. "Since Friday," Liam replied quietly. He looked extremely guilty, and I knew it was my fault because I had asked him to lie about it. "He wanted to tell you straight away, Jake, but I wanted to wait. I don't want you two fighting, please, I begged, looking at my brother, giving him a puppy dog face. Jake closed his eyes, shaking his head disappointedly. You like him, Amber? Yes, I admitted, still begging him with my eyes to accept it and not go off on one or blame Liam for it. I would hate it if they fell out over me. He nodded, but didn't open his eyes. Was that what you did, Liam? What was that you did, Liam? How did you do that? Calm her down like that? He asked, opening his eyes and looking at him gratefully. Liam shrugged, seeming wearily. I don't know. It's just something that calms her down, that's all. I've always done it. Always done it? You've done that before? Jake questioned, looking confused. Yeah, I've had to calm her down a few times, Liam replied sadly. I thought about what he meant, all the times he'd see me cry, and probably every single night up until the age of 14. What? When? I've never seen you do that, Jake protested, shaking his head adamantly. I drew in a shaky breath. Now he's going to find out that Liam sleeps in my room. I crossed my fingers and prayed that this was going to go well. That Jake was understanding and not too angry with his best friend. Liam looked at me for permission to tell him. I nodded and chewed my lip, knowing that this needed to be brought out into the open sooner or later. Jake, please don't freak out, I begged, moving my body so I was in front of Liam slightly, in case Jake lunged for him or something. My small move might just deter him from launching himself at my boyfriend. Liam winced apologetically. Jake, man, nothing ever happened, I swear, he promised. One of Jake's eyebrows rose in question, prompting for more explanations. Liam drew in a ragged breath. When I was 10, I saw her crying on her bed through my window, so I snuck over to make sure she was okay, and I ended up falling asleep in bed with her. Jake glared at him like he wanted to murder him right then and there. It happened again the next night and the next. She would be crying, so I'd sneak through the window, and after a while, it was just a habit. Liam explained, frowning slightly. Jake jumped up with his fist clenched. His eyes were tight as he glared at Liam. As quick as lightning, Liam grabbed my arm and pulled me behind his body protectively. Jake's eyes flashed before his face calmed. Why did you just do that? Jake asked, sighing, looking at Liam intently. Do what? Liam asked, confused, still holding me behind him. Move my sister behind you like that, Jake said, his face perfectly calm now. Liam shook his head as if he didn't understand the question. I didn't want her to get hurt, that's all. Jake sat down and dragged his hand through his blonde hair. You really like my sister? He asked, looking through the floor. Liam snorted quietly. Jake, I'm in love with your sister. You know that. He sat back down on the sofa and pulled me to sit down next to him. Jake nodded. And you slept in her bed before, when we were kids? Jake stated as if trying to make sure that he had the facts straight. Not just when we were kids. That's what I was trying to say. She used to cry, so I'd sneak over her and comfort her every night, and it just became a habit. And now neither of us can sleep properly without the other one there. Liam admitted awkwardly. Jake's face shot up. You still sleep in her room? Every night since we were 10? Damn it, Liam. Shit, motherfucking stupid asshole. Jake ranted, not quite able to get the words out, taking a step forward with his fist clenched again. I winced. Oh, God, here it comes. I held my hands. Yeah, right. Cute. Held up my hands, trying to stop him. Jake, remember when I used to wake up screaming all the time? I asked desperately. I needed him to make him see reason fast before they started fighting. He nodded and recoiled, as if scarred by the memory. Hello, Braddy. Welcome in. Oh, damn it, Liam. Shit, motherfucking stupid asshole. Yeah, I know. A little harsh. But welcome in, Braddy Cthulhu. He nodded and recoiled as if scarred by the memory. Yeah, but that stopped, though, when you were like 8 or something. I nodded. Yeah, when I was 8. That's when Liam started sleeping in with me. I don't have nightmares anymore because of Liam, I said, smiling and squeezing Liam's hand. Yes, you do. I've had to sleep in with you a few times since then. Jake protested. Yeah, you did. And I still had nightmares, even though you were there, I countered. Jake flinched and nodded, probably at the thought of me screaming the house down in his bed. I've only had a few nightmares since then. The only times that I've ever had them is when Liam's not there, if he's on vacation or something, I explained, looking at Jake, watching the understanding slowly cross his face. We were all silent for a while. Liam was stroking the back of my hand, and Jake was just staring at the floor. After what seemed like forever, Jake looked at Liam. Liam, if you hurt my sister, best friend or not, I will kill you, Jake warned. I could see that he meant it. I won't, I promise, Liam vowed, smiling reassuredly. Jake cleared his throat and nodded. Right, well, I'm going to bed. I guess I'll see you in the morning. Make sure you lock the door before you two go to bed, Jake instructed, getting up and leaving us sitting there on the sofa. My mouth popped open, and I looked at Liam, and he just looked as stunned as I felt. Wow, that was easier than I thought, he mused, smiling at me and putting his hands on either side of my face. I smiled, just pleased that it was finally out in the open. Want to go to bed? I'm not in the mood for homework, and I just want to go to sleep. I just need to lie down in bed and have him hold me a little while after the revelations about my dad. He nodded and kissed my nose. I just need to go back home first. Jake called and said you were freaking out, so I just ran out of the house without even telling my parents where I was going. He stroked my face with his thumbs softly, just looking at me with a sad smile. Okay, I guess I'll just go to bed and I'll see you when you're ready, I said, getting up and pulling him toward the front door. He grinned excitedly. Hey, can I use the door now that Jake knows? I laughed at his eagerness but shook my head. No, your parents might see. Unless you tell them you're staying here, I suggested. He smiled happily. I would love to walk through your front door and get into your bed. I've never done that before. I took out my keys and gave them to him. Make sure you lock it after, okay? I kissed his cheek and warily made my way to my bedroom. It was nearly 10 o'clock, but my body felt so exhausted from all the emotional drama that it felt it hadn't been slept in days. I pulled off my clothes and slipped into one of my favorite t-shirts that used to be Liam's. I fell asleep instantly. A couple of minutes later, I felt two arms wrap around and a heavy leg slung over mine. I smiled and pressed back into him, my boyfriend, the one I needed when things went wrong. It was weird, but when Jake had pulled me away from Liam tonight, I'd felt strange, like I'd left my heart behind. I didn't realize up until then how strongly I was connected to him. He literally was everything to me. When his arms had wrapped around me earlier, I felt like I was home, and all my panic had started to recede. I felt as long as he was with me, I'd be all right. I snuggled into him and heard him whisper, I love you, right before I fell back into a deep, dreamless sleep. I didn't doubt his words this time. Okay. We got another chapter, chat. We got another chapter. All right, let's see. Don't mind me just flipping through this book. Okay. We might be able to get through one, possibly two chapters. Thank you, Reaper. All right. I can't finish the book. I've got, let's see, we're at page 111, and the book ends on page 241. It would take me like 6 hours to read the rest of this book to you guys. Now, if I'm reading it silently to myself, I could probably finish this book in like 2 hours tops. But when I'm like actually thinking about the tone and like like emotion and like actually actively reading, it's a little more work. But I appreciate the suggestion, Haru. Thank you, thank you. Don't worry, it's fine because then it gives me more content. You guys will have to come back next Sunday, and listen to the rest. All right, we're heading into chapter 13. I woke up at 6 with my alarm going off. I groaned because for once I didn't need to get Liam out of my window. I silenced it quickly and rolled over, wrapping my arm around still sleeping Liam. He always slept through the alarm. He would sleep through an earthquake. Nah, just speed read through it and we'll read your thoughts. Y'all don't read minds? I haven't taught them how to do that yet, Bratty. It's pretty advanced magic, I'm not gonna lie. I nudged him gently, deciding to play a joke on him. 6 o'clock, I said, nudging him again. He groaned and slowly sat up, still half asleep. Okay, Angel, I love you. I'll see you later. He bent down and kissed my forehead before swinging his legs out of bed. I know. It's okay. We'll get there. He bent and kissed my forehead before swinging his legs out of the bed. His eyes were only half open. I couldn't help myself. I burst out laughing. He looked at me confused. Shh, what are you laughing at? He asked, frowning, pulling on his jeans. You, I teased, smiling happily. What about me? What have I done? He whispered, climbing back onto bed and crawling on top of me. He pressed every inch of his body to mine, but still kept all of his weight off of me somehow. That's funny. That's funny. That's some funny shit. You're funny. You're funny, Fancy. I like you. He looked into my eyes, smiling happily for a little while, then understanding crossed his face. Shit! Your brother knows! Then why the hell did you wake me up, Angel? I don't need to leave, he whined. I wrapped my arms around his neck and pulled him closer to me. I was just kidding around. I forgot to cancel the alarm, so I thought I'd use it the extra time so we could make out. He grinned. You want to make out? He teased, he dipping his head and kissing my neck. I gasped as he reached the sensitive spot near my collarbone. I breathed, running my hands down his back and scratching slightly with his nails, making him moan. He climbed back under the covers, kissed me tenderly, softly, holding me close. He made no moves to take things any further than that, which I loved. He truly was adorable. We walked out of my bedroom a little after 7:30. Liam pushed me onto one of the kitchen stools, smiling broadly. Hey, I get to make you breakfast without getting shouted at today, he chirped. I laughed as I watched him make a bowl of cereal. He smiled and put it in front of me before making some toast for himself. You really don't eat cereal at all? Okay. Brady, that's funny. You're funny. I asked, watching him scarf down 4 slices of toast. He shook his head, turning up his nose. Nope, it's gross and all soggy. He faked a shudder, pretending to gag. I laughed again. You are really weird, Liam, I teased, smiling at him. He grinned. You know, it's kind of weird, you being all nice to me over breakfast. I could be mean to you, if you want, I offered playfully. He laughed and shook his head. No, I'll get used to it eventually. He walked over to my side, and I turned to look at him. As he brushed my hair behind my ear, his fingers lingering on my cheek, making me blush. You really are the most beautiful thing in the world, he murmured. My heart skipped a beat at the honesty in his voice. His blue eyes were burning into mine, making me feel like the only girl in the world. Jake cleared his throat dramatically from behind us as he strutted into the kitchen. Cut that crap out. I might have given you my blessing, but I don't need it shoved into my face over breakfast, he growled. Wow. Ooh, okay, interesting. Love that for you. I love that. We always need one of those kind of people, Bratty. I like it. As he stepped past Liam, he slapped the back of his head. I smiled, almost choking on my breakfast, at Jake's disgruntled expression. Liam stepped behind me, wrapping his hands around my waist and leaning his head on my shoulder. Thanks, Jake. I know you said stay away, but he trailed off. Jake smiled and nodded, leaning against the counter. Whatever, Liam. We're fine. Just don't make us have a problem, okay? Liam's arms tightened around me. I won't. He kissed my shoulder lightly, causing Jake to fake gag. Well, come on then, lovebirds. I suppose you need to get to school a little earlier so that you can announce you're together, Jake stated, rolling his eyes. Liam grinned and nodded, but I gasped, shook my head fiercely. No way! We can't do that! I protested, turning to Liam. He genuinely was hurt for some reason. Why not? He said, taking my hand and looking a little confused. I glanced at Jake. He really wasn't going to like this. Well, I sort of have a bet going on, and the next one to sleep with you will win the pot, and I could really use that money. I looked at Liam uncomfortably, but he just started to laugh hysterically. Jake almost choked on his drink. No way! You can't do that! He cried, shaking his head violently. I don't want to know that you are two having sex. I don't. I laughed at his annoyed and disgusted face. Jake, we're not having sex. I shrugged, making his face relax a little. But when we do, I definitely want to win the pot. And I won't if people know that I'm his girlfriend already. I looked at Liam, unsure if he would go along with this or not. Angel, I don't want you to be with me for some bet, he frowned, looking a little hurt. I smiled teasingly. You think that's the reason I'm going to have sex with you? Trust me, lover boy. It won't be to do with the money. That doesn't make sense. That sentence does not make sense. It won't have to do with the money. I don't know what that sentence was supposed to be, but I corrected it. A grin graced his full lips as he bent, his mouth to my ear. So what will be the reason? He breathed, sending a shiver down my spine. I bit my lip. I'm not sure, but it might have something to do with you begging me on your knees. I teased, smirking at him. Yeah, exactly, Bratty. That's what I was getting. Yeah. He laughed and kissed me, pulling me closer to his body, sending ripples of desire racing through my bloodstream. He pulled away to look at me, lust written clear across his face. I'll happily beg you right now, you know. I patted his chest and stepped away before I pushed Jake too far and he forbid me to see Liam again. Thank you for the hydrate, raccoon. Thank you. Give me. Right? He just like Reaper for real. Reaper calls me mommy mage. Game recognized game. That's what I'm saying. Game recognized game. Oh, I know, lover boy. I laughed, trying to catch my breath. Yeah, just like that. I glanced at Jake, who was staring at us eyes wide, his mouth hanging open in shock. Guys, I seriously can't take this PDA, he said, grimacing, shaking his head. It's okay. The PDA's done. I just think we should keep this quiet for a little while. Why not make a little money for doing something that would happen eventually? At least that's how I look at it. Oh, yeah. Have some cereal. Amber just had some cereal. It'll make you feel at home. Hello, Nintendo. Welcome in. Welcome, welcome. Liam and Jake looked at each other. I guess, will you be able to win? I mean, was the bet to make me break up with my girlfriend or something? Liam asked, frowning. I giggled and shook my head. Nope, I made sure of that. It's definitely just the next one to nail you, as so they so eloquently put it. Liam shook his head and wrinkled his nose. I can't believe this girls do this sort of thing. Yeah, I can't believe it either, Mega.